Hi guys, it's V from Embers of Consciousness, and today I want to talk to you about the cost of going against yourself. So, what happens when we resist, we fight our inner knowing, our pull in a direction, what our higher self and guides are trying to tell us? It sucks. No, but really, there's a cost. And I'm going to tell you about a couple different circumstances that happened to me. And I'm going to say one is more chronic, long-term, and one was acute. And I just want to show you the difference and how it kind of manifested. So, you guys might know from some of my other videos, I had a very different life not too long ago. And I was not living in my truth. I was putting on a facade for what people thought I should be. And I kind of did all of the things that I thought I was supposed to do. And it resulted in a lot of things. One, addiction. Two, some mental illness manifestations, including depression and anxiety, and even thoughts of not being here anymore. It also, there was so many things too. It was almost as if, the only way I can describe it is kind of like my soul was suffocating. I wasn't really conscious that this was what was happening, just so you guys know. It's taken me a long time to kind of figure this out. But looking back now, there was so many aspects of self that were dying, like literally like clawing out to be seen, to be heard, to be expressed. I wasn't using my creative energies and pursuing passions that were near and dear to my heart because I was afraid of what people would think, or I didn't think that you can't really like have that for a job, like that's not sustainable, or you know, someone like you can't do that. I numbed myself really effectively, and it you know, the universe works in magical, crazy ways, and so I had some tower moments come in that really shook things up, I'll say. And it kind of forced me to get back to self. But it was over this long, extended amount of time that I just slowly stopped remembering who I was. And it came to a point that like, I didn't even recognize myself anymore. What's funny now is that, you know, I've completely changed my life and I've been doing all this, you know, work and growth and healing and expansion, and some people that knew me in that past life, they almost think this is the facade, like this is not the true me. And I'm like, no, this, like, I just remembered who the F I am. But we get so comfortable. I remember telling a friend, you know, I would be driving home from work, and I felt like, you know, it almost felt like a cartoon, you know, like when you're driving, and work was a pretty positive place for me. I felt needed and seen, and it was a big piece of my identity. And so then I would be driving home, and it was like all these storm clouds like would come over me, and my energy would change. And I would just go home to this life that I was just like, okay, like, but until I got to where I am now, I didn't know how unhappy I was. I had no idea. I thought it was cool. I thought it was fine. I was successful. But there was nothing internally like fulfilling me. And it was slowly killing me. That's the honest truth. There was so much self-destructive behavior. It was slowly killing me. Now, recently, I've really been working on honing in on my intuition, listening to my soul and higher self, and what I know to be true. Not that I'm not open to others and learning and expanding, because obviously that's an important part of all of this, but learning to distinguish what are other people's distortions and projections on me and what I know to be true. And the challenging part is when what you know and feel doesn't line up with what's happening in the 3D. Well, I had a pretty massive test of that in the not too recent past. Something happened, and what was being said and what was being done to me felt so misaligned from everything I thought and I knew. For a minute, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I spun out. I said, oh, well, I guess I am crazy. I guess I'm wrong. I'm crazy. I imagined everything. And not only did I take that piece of my life and what I thought about that, but I applied it to everything. I was like, well, if I was wrong about this, I'm wrong about everything. Oh my God. Like, I'm just wrong then. Which is so silly. But that's what we do. If we have one thing happen to us, we like apply it to everything, which is bananas. So I did that. I was like, well, they're saying this, my friends are saying this, everything is showing me this, it must be this. But there was a piece of me that didn't believe it, but I gave in. I gave in to what was happening around me. And I went against myself. I literally thought I was crazy. I went back into some really old, nasty patterns. Thought some pretty dark thoughts. And I started having physical reactions. I started breaking out. I lost my appetite. Literally was rejecting food. I was nauseous. The anxiety started really bad again. And the depression. Even thoughts of like, why am I doing all this? Why am I here? Even maybe I should just go back to my old life, because this is all an illusion. I made it all up. I did this for a little bit. I let myself to an extent. I'm gonna show some grace to myself because it was a really hard time, but I went against myself. And so all these things started happening, right? Well, I decided that I couldn't do this anymore and I needed to get some clarity. I ended up going out into the desert alone, like I do often, and just reconnect to self, to source, to really be able to listen. And I learned that getting away from the external chatter is really important to me. I'm so sensitive to people's energy, so sensitive. And I didn't know before, So I didn't even know why I was feeling the way I was feeling, but now I know. And so taking the time out and just really being in my sovereign self and getting back to that place of complete trust. Well, I was able to do that. It wasn't easy. It took some time. Once I did, though, guess what? All the physical symptoms went away. The breakout went away. My appetite started coming back. Not nauseous anymore. No more depression. No more anxiety. And I didn't feel crazy anymore. I was like, oh, no, like, no. And then I actually, this is a tool that I use. I went back and I looked at the history and I said, you know what? When I followed my intuition on this, I was right. When I followed my intuition on this, I was right. And I just kept going. And the end of this story is that there was a lot of things in that situation that spun me into this doubting that I was right about. I was right about it. So that was one of the biggest confirmations of, damn, you have to stick by you no matter what. Even if it gets messy, even if people think you're bananas, which, trust me, people still think I'm bananas. And I don't care anymore, because to go against myself costs more than maybe getting messy, maybe getting uncomfortable, awkward. It costs way more to feel so out of alignment with self. So, if there's situations in your life that everyone thinks you're crazy, but you have your own inner knowing, listen to that. Always do things with integrity. Don't cross boundaries. Have respect for others. That's not what I'm saying, just in case I need to put that caveat there. But you deserve that. You need to be there for you, no matter what. Don't go against yourself. That is the worst feeling. And it's more detrimental than anything that can happen if you don't follow yourself. I promise you. And guess what? The second I got back into alignment and to trust and to following my own path, things rapidly changed in this situation. Things were brought to the light. Things were mended. And I got confirmation, yeah, you knew. So trust yourself, you guys. Trust yourself, if nothing else, because it's so important. If you liked this video, please share it. Please comment below. Subscribe. And I'm sending you guys all the love and light, as always. Mwah.